When it comes to video games, we've seen it all. Heroic plumbers, space marine, magical swords, and post-apocalyptic wasteland. But somewhere off the beaten path lies a bizarre collection of games that makes you question not just the game design, but reality itself. These aren't your average titles. They're the kind of game that leaves you staring at the screen asking, who made this and why? From games where you play as a disembodied head that spits at enemies, to dating sims starring pigeons, the video game industry has had more than a few acid trips disguised as playable content. So grab your controller, suspend your disbelief, and prepare for a wild ride through the weirdest, wackiest, and most wonderfully absurd video games ever made. Released in 2014 by Coffee Stain Studios, Goat Simulator began as a joke, a deliberately buggy, barely functional mess made during a game jam. But instead of throwing it away, they published it, and it became a cult hit. Why? Because it's weird, glorious, unapologetically weird. You play as a goat, but not just any goat. This goat can lick things and drag them for miles. It can ragdoll at will. It can headbutt cars in orbit, and with the right upgrade, it can summon demon ghosts or ride a jetpack. There's really no objective here, no story, no sense, just chaos, pure unfiltered barnyard mayhem. Is it strange? Absolutely. Is it broken? Most definitely. But that's exactly why we love it. Goat Simulator is proof that sometimes being completely ridiculous is the best design of all. And to boot, they've actually had a sequel made, Goat Simulator 2. I've played Goat Simulator at one point in time, and I absolutely love the game. If you want something completely and purposely broken, yet ridiculously fun, I suggest getting your hands on Goat Simulator. I think it's still on Steam, and I also think you can get it on the console as well. Released only in Japan in 1998 for the original PlayStation, LSD Dream Emulator wasn't so much a game as it was an experience. A simulation of dream based on the actual dream journal of a game developer named I'm not even going to pronounce this name. There's no combat, no score, no objective here, just you wandering around aimlessly through an ever-shifting landscape of surreal nonsense. One moment you walk through a temple filled with floating babies, the next you're in the moon, being stalked by a shadowy figure who erases your memory. Ah yes, the Gray Man. He basically is the boogeyman of your dreams. He randomly shows up to stare at you and erase part of your game's history if you get too close. Because, of course he does. It's like if Microsoft Paint and Salvador Dali painting had a panic attack and a baby, and the baby got a PlayStation dev kit. So why is LSD Dream Emulator so strange? Well, for starters, the world changes randomly every time you play it. Sometimes the doors work, sometimes the walls teleport you. The soundtrack is generated with a logarithm, so it's never the same twice. And the game literally encourages you to play for 365 days in a row. Yes, a full year of dream walking. And let's not forget, you might encounter bouncing Neon elephants, walking buildings, or text box that just says "leak is murder" before launching you into space. LSD Dream Emulator is less of a game and more of an interactive art piece, a digital fever dream that dares you to make sense of it all. Spoiler alert, you won't. It's weird, it's broken, it's beautiful, and it's a reminder that video games can be more than just high scores and boss fights. They can be a deep dive into the subconscious, or maybe just the weirdest thing you've ever experienced on a PlayStation. On paper, figuring sounds like your average budget PC racer. You're behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler racing across country, hauling illegal cargo and outrunning the law. Except the developers apparently forgot to include some things like law enforcement and AI, physics, and of course, collision and gravity. In Big Ridge, your opponent doesn't even move. He just sits there, forever, like he knows what's coming and refuses to participate. Now let's talk about the physics or the lack thereof. You drive forward and you hit a decent speed, great, but if you shift in reverse and then you enter another dimension, your truck goes faster the longer you hold reverse. There's no limits, you can break the sound barrier, possibly time itself. And if you thought collision detection was a basic requirement for a racing game, Big Rig says otherwise. Mountains go through room, buildings phase right through them, bridges with no code under them, you fall, nope, never mind, you just keep driving into empty space. You're God, a truck driving, terrain-defying God. But let's not forget the cherry on top, the victory screen, your face that will live in infamy in your head forever. You're a winner. Not you win, not even you are a winner, just your winner. With a space and an exclamation point that almost sounds like it's apologizing or something. Big Rig's over-the-road racing is not just a bad game, it's an accidental masterpiece of absurdity, a glitchy fever dream that defies logic, physics, and basic quality control. It was never finished, and yet it's an unforgettable masterpiece. Now, there are strange games, and then there is the Textorcist, the story of Bibbia, a game where you're hard-boiled exorcist priest battling demons while using your keyboard, literally. The Textorcist doesn't just ask you to dodge bullet hell projectiles, oh no! It asks you to do that while typing out exorcism prayers, letter by letter, in real time. It's like someone blended Doom, Typing of the Dead, and a Vatican fever dream, and then added a trench coat and a hangover. So who is this Bibbia? Think Constantine meets John McClane. He's a rogue priest with a past, a revolver, and a Bible full of sass. You navigate a pixelated noir version of Rome, fighting off possessions, club donors, demonic strippers, and yes, a cyberpunk pulse. This game is soaked in religious icons, gritty crime drama, and over-the-top anime logic. 1 second you're fighting satanic hackers in a server room, the next you're dodging cubes from possessed funk rockers while typing in name fortis. Now here's where this really gets strange. It's the gameplay. This is your grandma's taking tutor. Every boss fight is a bullet hell battle. Think Tuhoro Project, but with more crosses, and to deal damage you have to type prayers, actually while moving with the arrow keys to dodge an onslaught of unholy projectiles. And if you get hit, you drop your Bible, and if you drop your Bible, you have to run over and pick it back up while still dodging bullets. Hope you remembered where you left off in your Latin incantation, because the demons sure didn't wait. It's one of the only games where muscle memory, reflexes, and spelling accuracy all have to work together under pressure and under fire. It's chaos. It's brilliant. It's absolutely deranged. It poked fun at religious tropes, plastic action heroes, and gaming conventions, all while generally challenging you to master an unheard-of control scheme. And let's be honest, how many games let you say, I cast out this demon by typing at 90 words per minute? The Textorcist, the story of Bibbia, is one of the strangest games you'll ever play. It's part exorcism simulator, part noir thriller, part typing test from hell, and yet somehow it all clicks. It's punishing, it's clever, it's ridiculous, and it's got more Latins than your high school motto. So if you're looking for a game that breaks your fingers and your brain, Bibbia is waiting with Bible in hand and demons to bust. Just remember to spell check your exorcisms. Have you ever wanted to clean up the universe by rolling everything into a giant sticky ball? No? Well, too bad, because that's exactly what, and don't ask me to pronounce this correctly, Katamari Damacy makes you do. This is a game where logic goes to die, and weirdness reigns supreme, and we absolutely love it for that. So here's the story. The king of all cosmos, who lives like a disco-loving Stretch Armstrong fever dream, accidentally destroys the stars in the sky during a drunken bender. Naturally, it's up to his tiny, silent son, the prince, who is literally 5 centimeters tall, the 6 of us by rolling up all stuff on Earth into balls, which are then shot in space to become new stars. Interesting. Well, the gameplay is a bizarre story. You start off rolling up thumbtacks and candy, but give it a few minutes and suddenly you're scooping up house cat, people, cars, skyscrapers, an entire continent like you're some kind of adorable, gravity-defying black hole with boundary issues. I prefer to call yourself a weird little dung beetle. And it's like watching a snowball made of chaos and junk mail become a planet-sized god, and somehow it all scored by jazz, J-pop, and what sounds like karaoke machine possessed by an alien. And then there's the king of all cosmos. This world highness speaks in record stretches, insults your side constantly, and somehow has both infinite power and zero parenting skills. It'll guilt trip you for not rolling a big enough Karamates, then hit you with a passive-aggressive monologue while floating in a void. He's majestic, he's terrifying, he is fabulous. So why is this game so strange? Well, because it breaks every rule and somehow still works. It's surreal but charming, chaotic but relaxing, completely bonkers, and kind of absolute beautiful in a way. It turns consumerism, scale, and destruction into some kind of abstract feel-good Zen puzzle. And somehow, at the end of it all, you feel like you actually accomplished something, even if that some things involve rolling off sumo wrestlers and several cows into a ball of doom. Forgive me for pronouncing this wrong, but Katamari Damacy isn't just a strange game, it's a celebration of the absurd. It's a reminder that video games don't always have to make sense, sometimes they just need to just roll. Released in 1996 for MS-DOS, this point-and-click horror adventure somehow manages to be a murder mystery, a satire, a social commentary, and a fever dream all rolls into one uncomfortable, blood-soaked package. It's like if Twin Peaks, Leave It to Beaver, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre had an awkward love child, and then the child developed a strong addiction to conspiracy theories and late-night infomercials. You play as Steve, a guy who wakes up in the small town of Harvest with amnesia. He doesn't know who the hell he is, who his family is, or why his mom is baking something that looks like a war crime in a casserole dish. Everyone tells him he is engaged to a girl named Stephanie, but she seems just as confused and terrified as you are. Oh, and everyone in town keeps urging you to join the mysterious organization called The Lodge, which is either a secret society or really aggressive time-trip presentation. The townsfolk's completely off the rails. The fireman is obsessed with setting things on fire strangely. The police chief is a sleazy goon who treats crime like it's an inconvenience to his nap schedule, sounds like the Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons. And the barber, let's just say you'll never trust a straight-edge razor again, with his Sweeney Todd. Eventually, you'll get to join the Lodge. And that's when this game drops the pretend normal act and dives headfirst into full-blown nightmare mode. We're talking walls made of flesh, mutant creature, satanic ritual, puzzles that make less sense than a David Lynch movie and fast forward. The Lodge is like Dante's Inferno was designed by GameFAQs forum full of psychopaths. What makes Harvester truly strange isn't just the violence or the twisted imagery or the fact that one scene involves a woman vacuuming her lawn. It's that tone. The entire game walks this fine line between satire and sincerity, horror and comedy. And just when you think that's all messed up joke, the ending throws you a curveball that will either make you gasp or unsell the game while questioning your life choices. Harvester is a game that doesn't just break the rules, it sets them on fire and laughs as they scream. It's clunky, it's grotesque, it's uncomfortable, but it's also unforgettable in an era filled with sanitized robots and predictable tropes. Harvester stands alone as a game that dared to be unapologetically weird. Seaman is a virtual pet simulator, but not like Tamagotchi or Nintendogs. Oh no. And Seaman, you raised a sarcastic fishman hybrid from a weird little egg until he eventually developed lungs and legs. Because, well, why not? You feed it, regulate the temperature of its tank, and yes, you talk to it, literally, using a microphone attached plug into your Dreamcast controller. You can converse with your fish like some kind of aquatic therapist or inmate. Seaman doesn't just talk. He judges you. He asks deeply personal questions. He criticizes your answers. He laughs at your dreams and might even ask you about your love lives. It's like being roasted by a moist Larry David. And just to crank up the weirdness to level 11, Seaman is narrated by none other than Leonard Nimoy. Yes, Spock himself welcomed you into the disturbing little world like it's an episode of The Twilight Zone. So why did Sega release a talking fish game with the soul of a disappointed therapist? Because it was the late 90s and Sega was taking a giant risk. And someone somewhere thought, this was a great idea. It's weird, yes, but also innovative, creepy, hilarious, and unlike anything else we've ever seen. It's basically an interactive fever dream, and we love it for that. And there you have it, folks, a tour through the bizarre, the baffling, the downright strange world of video games. From sentient fish giving you life advice, to a goat that can lick things out of existence, to even a strange creature that rolls the entire universe into a ball of dung. It is clear that no idea is too weird when it comes to interactive entertainment. Whether these games left you scratching your head or laughing out loud, one thing is absolutely for sure, and that they prove that creativity in gaming knows no limits. So the next time you witness something strange, just remember somewhere out there, someone thought this was a good idea. And honestly, we're glad they did. If you enjoyed this trip through gaming's weirdest corners, give it a like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment with your pick for the strangest game you've ever played. Until next time, stay weird, stay curious, and keep gaming. Peace out, and stay frosty.